Have you ever felt like life is just too loud? The deadlines, the pressure, the unexpected chaos. It's overwhelming. And sometimes, even when everything looks fine on the outside, your mind feels like it's running a marathon with no finish line. This is where Stoic philosophy comes in, not as an ancient theory, but as a modern-day toolkit to help you calm the storm within. In this video, we're going to break down 15 timeless life lessons from Stoicism. Each one simple, clear, and deeply powerful. These aren't abstract ideas. They're practical steps that you can apply today to reduce anxiety, build mental strength, and stay grounded no matter what life throws your way. Here's my promise to you. If you watch closely and actually apply what you learn, you will become calmer, wiser, and more resilient. But here's the warning. If you skip around or treat this like background noise, you may miss the exact insight that could transform the way you handle stress, relationships, and your sense of purpose. So pause the distractions. Take a breath. What you're about to learn might just change your life. Let's begin. 1. Master your mindset by controlling what you can. Let me ask you something real. How much time have you spent today stressing over something completely outside your control? Maybe it was someone's comment, a disappointing email, or something you saw scrolling on social media that made you feel less than enough. Here's a powerful truth from Stoicism. Peace begins the moment you focus only on what you can control. Thousands of years ago, a wealthy merchant named Zeno lost everything when his ship sank. His fortune, his security, his plans, gone in a flash. Most people would have crumbled, but not Zeno. Instead of falling into despair, he made a decision that changed everything. He chose to rebuild, not with wealth, but with wisdom. That decision laid the foundation for Stoic philosophy. Zeno discovered what we all must learn. There are two categories in life, things you control and things you don't. You can't control the algorithm, someone else's opinion, or yesterday's mistake. But you can control your choices, your reactions, your mindset. Next time you're pulled into a spiral of comparison or frustration, pause and ask yourself, is this in my control? If not, let it go. Because owning your response, that's where your real power lives. 2. Accept reality, even when it hurts. Let's be honest, life doesn't always go the way we planned. One moment everything feels steady, and the next, it all falls apart. You lose your job, someone leaves, a door you counted on slams shut. In those moments, the mind goes into panic. Why me? This isn't fair. But here's a powerful truth from Emperor Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's not just philosophy, it's survival. You see, acceptance isn't giving up, it's waking up. It's choosing not to waste energy on blame, denial, or bitterness. It's taking a deep breath, facing reality as it is, and asking the only question that truly matters. What's my next best move? Pain is part of life, but suffering? That's often our resistance to reality. When we let go of what we wish had happened, we create space for what we can actually do now. It's not easy, but every time you choose calm over chaos, response over reaction, you grow stronger. And that strength, that's how you rise even in your hardest seasons. 3. Train yourself through small discomforts. Here's a question. When was the last time you did something uncomfortable, on purpose? Stoic philosopher Seneca believed that comfort, while tempting, can quietly make us weak. That's why he practiced what he called voluntary discomfort. Not because he enjoyed suffering, but because he knew that small struggles prepare us for big ones. So how does that work in real life? Try taking a cold shower, not because it's fun, but because it teaches your mind to stay calm under shock. Eat a simple meal instead of a feast, to remind yourself that satisfaction doesn't come from excess. Put your phone away for a full day to rediscover focus, patience, and your own thoughts. Or walk somewhere instead of driving to embrace inconvenience and build mental grit. These small exercises are like lifting weights for the soul. They seem minor, but they build a deep resilience. So when real challenges come, you don't break. You adapt. Ask yourself, is this really the thing I was afraid of? Often the answer is no. Discomfort doesn't weaken you, it wakes you up. And those who wake up early to discomfort are the ones ready when life tests them the most. 4. Keep your mind in the present. Let me ask you something real. How often do you suffer, not because of what's happening, but because of what you're imagining might happen? That's the trap of anxiety. And according to Stoic philosopher Seneca, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think about that. Most of the pain we feel doesn't come from the present moment. It comes from replaying past mistakes or worrying about a future that hasn't even arrived. You lose sleep not because of what is, but because of what might be. But there's a powerful Stoic practice to break this cycle, and it's incredibly simple. Pause, breathe, and ask yourself, right now, in this very moment, what problem do I actually have? 9 times out of 10, the answer is nothing urgent, nothing life-threatening, just my thoughts racing ahead. Ground yourself in the present. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice your breath. Because peace doesn't live in yesterday or tomorrow, it lives in now. The more you return to the present, the more control you regain. And once you master that skill, no fear, no regret, no chaos can truly shake you. 5. Don't take things personally. Have you ever walked away from a conversation replaying someone's words over and over, feeling hurt, offended, maybe even insulted? You're not alone. But here's a truth the Stoics lived by. Most of what people say or do isn't really about you. It's a reflection of them, their struggles, insecurities, and frustrations. Seneca once said that allowing someone's negativity to disturb your peace is like drinking poison and expecting them to suffer. That hit me hard, because how many times have we handed over our emotional control just because someone was having a bad day? Here's a powerful shift in mindset. Instead of saying, they upset me, say, I choose not to let this upset me. That small change puts the power back where it belongs, in your hands. Think of toxic words like arrows. They only pierce when we remove our armor, when we take it personally. But once you realize that you decide how to react, their arrows drop to the ground. You don't need to fight every opinion. You just need to stay rooted in who you are. And that kind of strength, that's unshakable. 6. Control your emotions before they control you. We've all been there. Someone says something rude, cuts us off in traffic, or disrespects us at work. And instantly our emotions flare. Anger, frustration, the need to react. But here's the truth. Emotion is natural, but losing control is optional. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic teachers, was born a slave. He endured humiliation most of us can't even imagine. Yet he maintained remarkable composure. Why? Because he understood one powerful principle. No one can upset you unless you allow him to. That isn't weakness, that's mastery. The next time someone triggers you, pause. Just 3 seconds. Ask yourself, is this worth giving away my peace? Chances are, it's not. Emotional control isn't about suppression, it's about freedom. It means choosing when and how to respond instead of being dragged around by every impulse. Think of emotions like wild horses, powerful, but only useful when you hold the reins. Practice this daily. Before you react, breathe, observe, and decide. That space between impulse and action, that's where your strength lives. Because when you master your emotions, you master your life. 7. Turn obstacles into opportunities. What if I told you that the worst thing that ever happened to you could be the best thing that ever happened for you? It's not just a comforting idea, it's a Stoic truth. As author Ryan Holiday wrote, the obstacle is the way. Life throws curveballs. You lose a job, a relationship ends, a project fails, and suddenly it feels like the world's closing in. But pause for a moment. What if this is your turning point? Losing that job? Maybe it's finally your chance to start something new, something that actually excites you. That painful breakup? Maybe it's the moment you stop living for others and start rediscovering who you are. Every challenge holds a lesson. Every setback holds strength if you're willing to look deeper. The Stoics didn't avoid problems, they used them as fuel. So the next time life says no, respond with this. How can I grow from this? Because the obstacle isn't in your way, it is the way. And once you believe that, there's no failure that can stop your growth. 8. True happiness comes from needing less. What if the secret to happiness wasn't getting more, but wanting less? Seneca, one of the wisest Stoics, believed that true joy isn't found in accumulation, it's found in appreciation. He said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." Think about it. We're constantly told to chase more money, more stuff, more recognition, but the finish line keeps moving. The new car, the bigger house, the promotion, it never feels like enough. Now imagine this. You end your day thinking of just three things you're grateful for. Maybe it's a warm bed, a kind conversation, or simply the fact that you made it through today. This simple habit rewires your brain. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already here. And that shift, it's powerful. It's peace. The less you need to be happy, the more unshakable your happiness becomes. So ask yourself, not, how do I get more, but what can I be deeply grateful for right now? Because when you learn to need less, you unlock a freedom the world can't take away. 9. Live by a code, the 4 Stoic virtues. What would your life look like if every decision you made was rooted in character, not in impulse? The Stoics believe that real strength comes from living by 4 timeless virtues: wisdom, courage, self-control, and justice. Wisdom is about staying curious. It means asking questions, listening deeply, and knowing you don't know everything. Imagine how much stronger your relationships or career could be if you just paused to understand before reacting. Courage isn't about being fearless. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's hard. Standing up for someone, speaking the truth, or choosing integrity over popularity. Self-control is your superpower. When emotions rise, when temptation hits, can you pause, breathe, and respond with clarity, not chaos? And finally, justice. Treating people with fairness, respect, and dignity, no matter their title, status, or opinion. It's about seeing others not as tools, but as fellow travelers in this human experience. Living by these 4 virtues gives you something rare, a steady compass in a spinning world. Because when the storms of life hit, and they will, your values will be your anchor, unshakable, unbreakable, uncompromising. 10. Don't fear change. Learn to welcome it. Change. It's the one thing we all fear, and yet the one thing we can't escape. Heraclitus, the ancient Greek philosopher, said it best: the only constant in life is change. And it's true. You change jobs. People leave. The world moves forward, whether you're ready or not. But here's the thing. Change is not your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. Think of life like the seasons. Winter can be harsh, but it makes spring feel like a miracle. Summer fades, but fall brings new colors, new clarity. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask this instead: how is this change helping me grow? Maybe the layoff is a nudge toward the career you really want. Maybe the breakup is clearing space for a healthier love. Maybe the discomfort is just the growing pain before your next breakthrough. When you stop resisting change and start working with it, something amazing happens. You become more flexible, more open, more alive. Change doesn't just shape your story, it reveals your strength. 11. Inner strength is stronger than any situation. True strength isn't about muscles or metals. It's about something deeper, something unshakable inside you. Stoic wisdom teaches us this. Inner strength is more powerful than any external circumstance. But in a world that constantly shouts, look at me, like me, approve me, how do you build real strength? The kind that doesn't need applause. Here's the truth. You don't need validation to know your worth. You don't need a round of applause every time you overcome something hard. Start small. Face a tough day without telling anyone. Get through a setback without needing sympathy. Make a brave choice and smile to yourself in silence, because that's where real confidence is born, not in noise, but in quiet victories. Ask yourself, can I celebrate myself even when no one else sees? Can I feel proud even without a like or a well done? The Stoics believe that power comes not from control, but from character. And when you build that kind of strength, you'll no longer need the world to tell you who you are. you'll already know. 12. Never stop learning or growing. There's a powerful quote from Epictetus that every one of us should remember. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. And isn't that the trap so many people fall into? They stop asking questions. They stop listening. They think they've figured it all out, and that's exactly when they stop growing. But real wisdom, it starts with humility, with the ability to say, I don't know everything, and that's okay. Because the moment you become curious again, life starts teaching you. Here's a challenge. Every day, ask yourself, what can I learn today? Maybe it's a new skill, a better habit, or a deeper understanding of yourself. Listen, really listen to others, not just to reply, but to understand. Be open to feedback, even when it stings a little, because the strongest people are not those who defend their ego. They're the ones who are brave enough to keep evolving. Growth isn't an event, it's a practice. And if you commit to learning a little more each day, your future self will thank you. Over and over again. 13. Train a steady mind. Calm isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. One breath at a time, one choice at a time. Think about it. When life throws chaos your way, what's your first reaction? Do you panic? Do you explode? Or do you pause? The Stoics teach us that calm is a skill. And like any skill, it takes practice. Start with your breath. When things get intense, breathe. When someone offends you, breathe. When your mind starts spinning with fear or frustration, breathe. Then ask yourself, do I want to react or respond? There's a world of difference between the two. Reacting is instant. It's emotional. Responding is conscious. It's powerful. Build the habit of sitting with your thoughts. Even 5 minutes a day of quiet reflection can sharpen your mind more than hours of noise. Remember, a steady mind isn't built in moments of peace. It's forged in the fire of pressure, and it's the quiet strength inside you that will keep you grounded when the world shakes. Train it like a muscle. Strengthen it like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. 14. Teen. Free yourself from comparison. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly felt free? Not successful, not impressive, just at peace with who you are. In a world that constantly screams, be more, do more, have more, it's easy to feel like you're behind. But here's the truth most people miss. Life is not a competition. It's not about being better than the person next to you. It's about becoming better than you were yesterday. The Stoics remind us, comparison is a thief of joy. Every time you scroll, every time you measure your worth by someone else's highlight reel, you hand your peace over to a world that doesn't even know your name. But what happens when you stop comparing? You stop running someone else's race. You start walking your own path, with intention, with calm, with confidence. Real freedom begins the moment you stop chasing approval and start choosing authenticity. So the next time you feel the pressure to prove, ask yourself, who am I living for? Because when you no longer need to compare, you become truly unshakable. 15. Slow down to live deeper. In a world that glorifies hustle, speed, and noise, slowing down can feel like falling behind. But what if the real power isn't in doing more, but in noticing more? The Stoics taught that clarity comes when the mind is still. And the truth is, the faster you go, the more you miss. You miss the small moments. You miss your own emotions. You even miss the signals life is sending you. Have you ever rushed through a day, checked every box, but felt completely disconnected? That's because movement without mindfulness is just noise. But when you slow down, even just for a breath, you see more clearly. You choose more wisely. You live more intentionally. Slowing down is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the art of doing less, better, of speaking less, but with more meaning, of living quieter, but with deeper purpose. So today, pause. Take a moment of stillness, because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to simply be present. Stoicism is not just a philosophy to read about. It's not something you memorize. It's something you practice every single day. Think of it like a spiritual toolbox. Not for when life is easy, but for when life hits hard. When anxiety creeps in, when plans fall apart, when people disappoint you, that's when these tools matter most. When you live with Stoic wisdom, you respond instead of react. You stay calm in the chaos. You act with clarity, not impulse. And most of all, you live by your values, even when the world around you doesn't. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming stronger, wiser, more centered than you were yesterday. So don't wait for the right time to start. Pick one lesson, practice it today, because real growth isn't about changing everything all at once. It's about changing how you face each moment, one breath at a time. And that, right there, is where true freedom begins. If this video gave you something to think about, a new perspective, a sense of calm, or just one idea to carry into your day, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next lesson. We're building a space for deeper thinking, emotional strength, and quiet wisdom, and you belong here. And if something in this video resonated with you or raised a question, drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts because this isn't just a channel, it's a conversation. Until next time, stay grounded, stay strong, and keep walking the path with purpose.